The title. We are on TikTok. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And a lot of times I will go live on Instagram, but Instagram is kind of like a problem child. They will cut your stream off because of the music.
Copyright. Yeah,
Yep,
that's what my next
most
question
often.
was. Is before you stream, like YouTube will do the same. Do you go find tracks that are
Nope.
approved? No. So you
No.
just go.
Yeah, I mean, I have definitely been cut off on YouTube before one time, but for the most part, honestly, my streams are fine on Facebook and YouTube, which is surprising because it's the same shit.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, Instagram's the only one that really like glitches and like freezes all the time. Everything else is pretty chill. So we are on. Let's look at the chat. We'll just say hi, everyone. And then, yeah, and then so you can see on this, like, everybody. Hi. What's up, music guy? How are you? All right. So we are live. It took a hot minute, and my throat is killing me today. But yay. Yeah. So I don't know what this hot cue is. I don't even remember making that hot cue. I haven't really taken advantage of the hot cues yet. A lot of times when I'm preparing for a set, I only use my hot cues to prepare for that specific set. So it's like, oh, I want to mix in the song here. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll hot cue it so that I can see like that's where I'm mixing out and mixing in.
Yep.
But I know a lot of DJs like hot cue, like they say, oh, the intro and then like the chorus or the drop or whatever, and they have all these like specific things that you're supposed to like have so that you can go there when you need to. But I haven't started doing that yet.
It,
And I
it,
heard you
it,
can do it on Rekordbox really easy. I don't use the software. So,
oh, okay.
yeah. So that's another thing that I haven't started doing yet is actually learning the
How,
software, how to use Rekordbox like itself. To be honest, I mean, it's just like, it looks a little ghetto. There's no sound. Oh. Can you hear me when I do this, Graham? If you can hear me here, then let me know because the iRig is on. Let me also turn on the other mic and see. I don't really want to do this, but let's see here. I think you'll get an echo though. That's the problem. I think you'll get an echo if I do that. I don't think it's a good idea to turn that on. Let's see. You're beautiful. Thank you. Okay, now. Okay, so we have to talk into the microphone. That's fine. All right. So we are speaking into the microphone. Hi everyone on TikTok. Louder, please. Oh, damn. I don't know how is that loud enough, everybody?
do you
Okay.
have a volume gain on the iStream?
Yes, I have it on the iRig. The thing is about TikTok is
Do you want to go up
you
to
can
volume?
barely hear me. Why can you barely hear me on TikTok? It's so weird. Because usually it's not. I don't know why you guys can't hear me very well on TikTok because it's just picking up the phone audio. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the follow. Y'all are so cute.
I
Um,
bumped up the stream
okay,
a little,
perfect.
so
The
sorry about
battery's
that.
dying on my iRig, so that maybe that's why. I don't know, Graham, but he said it's very low. So let me just bump it up on the OBS too, because right now, honestly, the sound decibels look like it's almost going into the yellow anyway. So I don't know why it would be so low. Is that better? See, now it's going into the yellow. I don't like that. Okay. Please tell me that that's better. All right. So, yeah. So, I haven't started using the software yet. So, that's kind of like something I'm like, I'll get to maybe. I heard that it's so much easier to like organize your crates and like do your hot cues there. You can adjust starting points of the song. So, I mean, I've like seen it. I just haven't played with it yet. Haven't done anything with it.
I'm the opposite. I've always learned playing off Serato in a laptop, and then people are like, "Where's your?" You were like, "Where's your thumb drive?" I was like, "Oh shit! All right."
Yeah. Yeah, cuz like for me, like I started on the software, as you guys know, everybody mostly. I had a DDJ, right? I started off on my DDJ, and that only works with software. So I was using DJ AI software. I really liked it. I liked the sounds that they had. I liked what, it was glitchy with my board because my board was meant to go with either Hercules like Juiced or Serato, whatever, right? But I liked the DJ AI software. So I was doing that. But when I got this, like, in the clubs, like they don't have the computer, like there's no laptop at the club. There's not even any light at the club. So there was no, I wanted to really practice what it was like to just be at the festival or be at the nightclub because there's no luxury of carrying your laptop, to those gigs. And so that's why I don't use it. Just because, yeah, I know that in reality, even if I had a big gig, like if I got to a point where I was like at a big festival where I could have my own laptop set up if I wanted to, I don't really want to. I think like I'd rather be focused on like learning the sound equipment stuff than like doing that. But I see like a lot of the production, like the DJs, not even DJs, but musicians, artists that are making their music now, and most of them aren't even using turntables. It's crazy. They
So,
have their computer, they have
so
their
the big
things.
difference, I'm open format, meaning I do more corporate events, private events. For that, the laptop is beneficial. With a festival, you
Mm,
may have pre-curated some of your music, so that makes sense because you could roll in with 30, 50, 60
yeah,
tracks.
exactly.
But when I'm doing a
Everything
corporate
is
event and I
planned
have no
out.
idea if I'm going to play 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, that's where the laptop becomes handy
Absolutely,
because
yeah, because you have all of
I'm
that stuff.
bringing 80,000 songs.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, it's like my stuff is way more curated. My playlists are way narrowed down to only genres and only music that I really enjoy, that I really like. It's like my curated set of music, versus like everybody's taste, to curate to or to cater to what the crowd at the wedding wants to hear, right? I'm like,
I'm jealous. The downside to not only being laptop based but being a pack rat and playing open format is I'm lost all the time in my library. I pull in new songs and I throw it in a folder and I was like, where the fuck did that song? I don't remember the name of it because I'm accruing music so fast.
Yeah,
So
that's why
there are
I
downsides.
try to keep organized. I try to keep my files. I have like different playlists. I have monthly. I have like the songs I downloaded that month. And then I have my vibes. Like you'll see in my playlists here, I have like Afro house vibes, big room melodic techno classics. Sometimes I have playlists of a certain set that I played. Um, and then if I made like a certain, I had a gig and I made a playlist just for that gig, right? I have those playlists.
Wait, this one says Denise's guilty pleasures, Celine Dion. What's up with that?
Hey, Celine Dion is a fellow Canadian, and I do not hate on my lovely Canadian princess. Celine is amazing. She probably has one of the best voices ever, ever. Okay, so let's get to some music because I want Lee to show me a little bit of his mixing style. Or what I was telling him was I want to learn some. The filters is really where it's at for me because in my genre of music, right, it's like you can mix, but it's like that build, that energy really comes from a lot of the filter use. I see it when I watch the DJs and I hear it when I hear their sets. So they're using those static sounds a lot. And I just want to be able to like do that really well. I'm still learning, I'm still practicing, and I know that that's just eventually going to come with practice, So I'm not like, I don't know how to do it. I just know it's just going to take me time and trial and error. But sometimes I like to see what other people are doing. So my mixing style is a slow mix. I do, that is mostly, I would say like 90% of the time what I do with the music. I slow mix it in. I bring in a song after a drop of the other song, usually after the second drop, so like an outro and an intro together. And I just slowly mix it. That's like what I found for the genre that I think sounds the best. I do want to go back to using my loops a little bit more. I noticed in my last set that I recorded and listened back to that I was missing some opportunities to loop and to let it kind of build that way. If I would have looped this song and then slowly mixed in this song, I felt in a few places like, it would have been a better mix than what I did. So I'm still learning, mixing, but that's my general style. And I'll give you an example. We'll just like mix it up right now so that you can see. So if we go to our big room melodic, we're going to start off big, guys. We're already going to the big room. All right. And another thing is I always mix in key. Not always, not like I don't ever mix out of key, because I do. And I notice that when you're in the big clubs, people don't hear it as much as like right here, we're going to hear everything because this is a monitor speaker and it's going to sound terrible. And my ear being musically trained, right, I just don't like the way it sounds when I don't mix in key. So I generally try as much as I can to mix in key. Now I know that with the newer CDJs that you can just press a button and change it to the key, which has been amazing to be playing and to not worry about what song I'm picking, because all I have to do is go click and it's a matching key, which is so cool. But on this, I don't have that. Now on Rekordbox, can you do that on the software?
So I'm not Rekordbox, I'm Serato. So
okay, so you don't know, damn it. Hi, Sunny.
Shout out to Rekordbox users. Ask your people, maybe they know.
So, is that Sandra? Hi. Oh, thanks for the follow, Drew. Okay, so on this, I don't have the option of doing the key change, and which is why I just tend to mix in key. So let's play Inella. This is Inella remix, and we all love Inella. I hope you guys do. Okay. So Inella, so what I would do is typically I would already have my playlist, right, of like what's gonna go that night, so it doesn't matter what song I play unless I see, okay, like, because usually what I would do is I would be like starting songs and then I would move to like the crazy, right, so I have like, I could pick the vibe and just know that all these songs are in that vibe. So then I would find like something that's like a similar key that I want to play. So I was like, would that song go? Maybe kind of look for something else. Miss Monique, The Morning After, that would be good. Right. So we load it up, match our little BPM. Yeah, so I don't use this one. I'd like to. To me, that's a lot more James hype, and I want to do that. Eventually, I would like to learn how to do this. I mean, you can see it's on, but I don't use it. But I'd like to. Yes.
So you guys can hear me. There's a few different aspects of a crossfader. Obviously, one is for turntablists, doing cuts ins and outs, but as you get more into using all the different aspects of your controller, the biggest advantage of the crossfader is it frees up a hand. So when you start getting into layering echoes and filters, if you're doing up and down fading, both your hands are taken. But now with the crossfader, that's the number one advantage, is now you can quickly add an effect here, drop your filter, roll your lows, mids, highs, and you've got one hand doing your mix and your other hand is free to do pullbacks or anything else you need to do. That's one of the biggest advantages of the crossfader.
So like by essentially doing this, I'm doing this.
Correct. And you can set... So this is a pretty good fade. This is set up for, it's a little hard. You can adjust your crossfade so that On this controller, I don't know. I'll have to look. Some controllers you literally have. It's called curve adjust. So you'll literally have a curve adjust, but on some controllers you have to go into the firmware. You have to pull up the utilities, and you do it like in the guts in the firmware of the controller. So scratch DJs have a hard cut, which means the second. And this is kind of a hard cut, so you can hear like. And the reason for that is when they're scratching, the second they even come to here, it's coming in really hot. But for house, you want like a 50% curve, which means that it's just a nice smooth. But because what will happen is if
It's a little harder
it's a
than usual. Yeah, because it does start fading into like.
exactly, it should be fading in the middle. Because also, what happens if you accidentally bump it, you've lost 70% of your gain.
That's
So,
right.
but we'll figure that out.
Okay, so we're gonna change that later, because so he's gonna help me adjust my crossfader, which is nice, because that's why I don't really use it, because I was like, it was kind of hard because it just cuts out. But that makes sense. Yeah, and the utility menu is here, and it's honestly pretty easy to find things. So like, if we wanted to, the thing is I don't think it's gonna do it well. So let's see. The mixer, crossfader curve right here. So it's on curve 2. So what is? Okay, so we want it higher.
Yeah, so that
Okay, here.
actually is, see where the X is? That is kind of where you want to be.
Oh, yeah, I see it. Okay, cool. So we've curved 3. That's the highest it can go.
I love that it's right there. And
Yeah, this thing is pretty easy to use. I will say, like, it's very, like, not complicated, so I like it. It's user-friendly. Shout out to Pioneer on that one.
this is going to ruin me because I'm a gear addict and I already own like 5 controllers, and now I'm going to have to go buy this one.
This one's really good, actually. I have some things on, like, my YouTube channel about it, but it's a 4-channel, so you can plug in your 2 other things to it. You can't use the 4 channels without an external, like plugging in something. So this doesn't shift into another channel like some people think it does. That I don't know. I mean, if you could tell by looking at the front of it, you can check it out. It has a bunch of things. I don't know. Hi, always tired. Okay, yeah. So yeah, you can run in whatever. You can plug in a vinyl to this. You can plug in CDJs.
So aux is great. I'm a fan of backups and contingencies, so whenever I'm playing, I have a second laptop or a device on an aux line, so if my main ever went down, I could immediately just bring up a backup on the aux line.
Okay, so let's go back to my mixing so I can show him my style. I'm just going to pause it and rewind it for a sec, so I'll turn it down so you guys don't have to hear that crap. Oops, I did a whole track search. Oopsie. Okay. Let's go back. I'll fast forward. So like here, I would just mix like in this song. Actually, this one's a little bit tougher because there's only like one major like drop down, as you can see here on the waveforms. So what I could do is I would either mix it here or I would mix it there. But let's just try it with here just for fun, just to see what happens. And this is why before I do a set, I usually listen and do this stuff beforehand so that I'm not just totally mixing blind. But there'll be some songs where I know like these go together, like I've tried them before, right? But sometimes I've done it without any like pre-planning, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It's a gamble, you know? If there's room for error, then okay.
So usually I gotta get used to so you guys can hear, if you care. When I set up, if I'm gonna record a mix, usually I'll make notes. Sometimes I even have little post-it notes off camera, and that's also, you were talking about the cue points. I'll count out, it's 188 beats or it's 1 minute that I'm gonna stay in, and then I just make all those notes. So it sounds like you're getting to that where you're curating and you know exactly how long you're going to stay in the mix and when you're going to use a cue point to show when you want to be out by. Like, so you don't have two vocals stepping on each other, etc.
That's what I'll do if I want to like really plan it out and make sure that my set is amazing, is I will like listen to the songs and say, okay, this, you know, the words come in here, so I have to make sure I do that. So I'll try to practice a little bit, but generally what I'll do when I'm mixing the two songs, when I'm slow mixing, I turn the bass down and I slowly just start to adjust. And I'd be listening in my headphones, obviously, so I can hear. But sometimes, honestly, in the gigs, I can't hear shit. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm just like going by whatever. So I would bring up that melody because I can see what's happening in the song here. I see that the beat's gonna come out, so I'll just watch it, right? Listen, watch. I might decide to take the bass out here and put it up there. That's kind of my style. Slow mix, watching, you know, what's happening in the song and deciding, you know, what I want to cut out and what I don't want to cut out, and the point I want to exit. And that's my normal, you know, that's what I do generally. Yeah, right, Sonny? It is. It's nice to have him here. How long have you been DJing?
Girl, I don't want to age myself, but, you know, when was the first turntable invented?
I don't know if that's a real thing or a joke, but... So, let's go back to, like, this filter thing. So, like, at this point, right, let's say I've been trying to work on making the builds even more exciting. So, I'm like, okay, here's a little bit of a low, and then what I've been trying is like, I like the reverb, I like the trans. The echo I'm not in love with yet, I'll get there. But let's say, for example, let's use noise. So like, you can hear that noise. I do hear DJs using this sound. So it's very sensitive.
And then if you add an echo, or if it's a long, how would you quick search back? Here we go. If it's long and you feel like you need to do something, sometimes when you're performing too, it's like you don't want to just stand there. So it could just be something that you're like oscillating.
That for me sounds a little more within the genre, like something that I would sound-wise enjoy. So if I noise it up, sometimes I've been building with the noise, where it's like almost this, like higher, higher, higher. I didn't really love it that time, but I've liked it once. And then shut it off, let's say. Then yeah, that echo. You go.
We'll just use the same 2 tracks. So, disclaimer, I don't know this controller and I don't know these tracks, but I'm just gonna see what feels right in terms of a transition. Like anything with a live drummer, you're not dealing with that. But if I'm doing a corporate event, we have to play disco, and it's a live drummer, the beats fall off really quickly. So this is more open format, but yeah, so a lot of times I like to start a mix. Just so you get that little flare and people can hear, oh, he's cutting it in. One of the easiest things to do with filter that you see a lot of DJs do is just, and doing both of them at the same time, yep. And do it on the beat. And then you just alternate them. And that's a lot of times that'll be up on, right on a build too, where they're just like, I mean, and you can have the same effect. The filter is basically cutting out your lows or mids, but you can obviously just do that, as you know already, and just play that way. Let's grab a flanger. So just that you hear the flanger, that's always fun. And usually you're going to hear people using the flanger on a build up again, just on a build. So the thing about the flanger is it sounds great on certain tracks and certain elements, and it sounds horrible on others. So it's really a trial and error thing of like, so I would use it right here, right before this drop. So like, with the filter. And that's also why, yeah, so you start getting used to doing 2 things at once with 2 hands.
A lot of what I haven't learned about the filters is this part, this one here. So you see like, and this, and the beat pad. So I've had trouble figuring out, like when I turn a filter on, you know, like, what does this do? What does this do? And this is where I'm like, okay, it's trial and error and I just have to learn it. But I still don't fully really understand like what it's doing.
What it's doing is it's going to pick how many measures it's applying to. Is it a 4 count, an 8 count, a half count, a quarter count? But I have to figure out where easiest way. Okay, so a good example just to demonstrate that is with the echo. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so what we're looking for is the beat. It's a half beat. you're going to jump up to 3/4, a full beat. Trial and error. And it depends on the effect. I'm using the echo because it's most obvious to hear it. So usually, right, versus that's an eighth. It's like boom, it's out right away. It's very dramatic. But if you jump to 2 beats, it's going to give you a much longer. And arguably that's way too long because you're already into the next track and now it starts to sound muddy. So usually I just keep it at 1 or half. And it's probably not as applicable for you with the type of long mixing, but echo is really great. Well, it's great on a cappella parts, like where there's something significant happening that you just want to accentuate. For open format DJs, it's huge. It's a huge out if your mix is starting to crash. So let's say my mix is on. And it's off. I'm starting to lose it. So a quick thing to do is that was really messy, but you get the general idea. I lost my beat.
But for me,
So-
if I'm using an echo, I wouldn't stop the song.
You're just using it as another layer.
Right? Like,
Yes. Yeah, I mean, the only time you might stop it is right here, is like right before all the beats come out. But I just wanted to, this is where you can most understand the difference between a half measure, quarter, full measure. So now that we know that, and this is where you're looking on your time, on your beats, now let's just grab a flanger and see if we can hear the difference.
so basically, I just
So-
have to listen and decide what I like.
Yes. So you can hear now, hear how the flanger's like really short and oscillating? That doesn't sound great. But now you hear when it's on, it's dragging that out more. Phaser, same thing. It's the amount of time that oscillation is going to come in and out. That generally sounds terrible, so usually you're somewhere between 1 and 2 beat. Does that make sense? That's basically what you're looking for. I don't know why it's not displaying here, but you can see it right here. So you can, yeah, so that's similar to what DJs do with a looping, where they'll go. Same effect. It's giving you that option to do like let's do a manual loop, like 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we'll shorten it. You were asking about loops. That's another trick.
Yeah, I've learned
Grid correction, are you talking about if the track is analyzed and it's off, or what do you mean by grid correction?
Sunny, we did figure out grid correction on Rekordbox. I had my friend Peter show me. but that song that we were trying to correct on the grid did not even correct. Even Peter couldn't get it done. So I think it was just that song, because we tried to correct that song and it didn't work.
Maybe that song is just exercising it right to not be corrected. It's like, you will not correct me.
It didn't work. Yeah, he showed me how to do it. He showed me exactly how to do it on Rekordbox. He doesn't use Rekordbox, so I'm not going to ask him about it because he uses Serato. So even with that, he's not going to be able to do it. But I already did it with Peter. You guys remember Peter. And yeah, it didn't work.
Should she use the crossfader? Go, 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 go. No pressure. Helpful is you get the general idea. It was a little messy, but when you're layering tracks and you have a long breakdown, you could just use the beat of the other track to fill it. I do that sometimes if there's a long breakdown and I have a dance floor and I see people are starting to like, this breakdown's too long and they need something to grab onto. So like popping the beat in of the second track just feeds them like a rhythm to keep them going.
I think having a third and fourth CDJ or whatever works better, because then I'm not messing up what I'm having like coming up next on, like, let's say channel 2. If I had channel 3 to mess with, so I could have it playing and then I could just skip back to the hot cue when I'm ready to mix in. Sunny, I know you're obsessed with the Denon. Everyone that has the Denon says it's better. I guess that's like a Apple and Android thing. When you don't have one, you don't know that it's better, and you think yours is better. But then when you have one, you're like trying to convince everybody that yours is better, but nobody has one, so they don't believe you.
Shout out to Denon. Denon makes a great product. Powerful software, powerful mixers. There is a divide on touring DJs. There's some DJs that are just hardcore Denon.
I just need to learn what is most likely going to be in front of me when I don't have the say. So that's why I don't even like having this, because I mean this is close to what you have when you're playing a gig, but I just wish I had like what I have, because I hate practicing and then going somewhere and not knowing the equipment.
So that's the next evolution when you get to a point where you're booking and going out and we're touring. I know DJs that will rent the equipment and go in and just learn every like the top 5 chords so that Pioneer is infamous for like every mixer that comes out, of the things will be the same, and then 2 things will be radically different. I was just telling her, when you get to a point where you're touring or playing a lot of different clubs, it's worth renting some gear and getting fluent on maybe the top 3 controllers, the CDJs, and then even a Denon, just so wherever you walk in, you're familiar with the equipment.
Wait, okay, so what am I supposed to do to, like, do this? Oh, wait, I do this. Okay. Okay, so first, the song is on. Okay, now I have a free hand. But I still need to use this hand to, like, do this stuff. So it's like, for me, usually I'm gonna have both of them up and I mix with this. Yeah. That's how I mix. So that way, because that way it is like I want both songs playing. And then this is how I mix. So it's different, right? Okay. Because in order for this to work, this would have to be up, right? And then I can. Okay. So once this is up, let's say, then I can do this. Then I can start playing. So, okay, let's see. Interesting. Now, would you use this on the master? Or do you both channels music, right?
The one thing I do hate, a design flaw. I was playing like an outdoor festival yesterday, and in the sun, it's very hard to see when your effects is on. You know, the little blue button. I like literally have to do this. So I was mixing, and I was like, "Why does this sound like shit?" And then I was like, "Oh, because I have an echo on the master."
That's right. Like during the day, it's like you can't really see the lights light up and stuff. And then also like when you're at the club, like I've played places where it was just so dark, I literally could not see what I was doing at all because there was no light for the board. And I was like, this is just ridiculous. Hi, Sandra. Oh, you have a little light. Yeah. See, I was thinking about doing the same thing. He brings his own lights, you guys. That's what I was thinking. I was like, should I be like bringing a flashlight so I could see the damn thing? And I'm like, hi, Sandra. I don't know if they would be mad, like, because it's all like warehouse vibes, you know, where it's like pitch black. So it's like super chill. That's cute. I actually have those already because I had a jewelry company years ago, guys. And I have those little lights to light up my table. So, except for it's white though. It's kind of disappointing because I want black now. Okay, yeah, I have one of those too.
This is why my DJ backpack weighs 75 pounds, because it's full of crap.
I also have a DJ backpack that weighs 75 pounds that's full of crap. No, his is like packed with crap. I said full. His is like exploding. I just have a bunch of cords that I don't use, but I bring because I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to need this, but... Okay, so we've discovered that the crossfader isn't perfectly for me because I slow mix with my mids and lows, but I'm still going to try to learn. Like, I want to be like James Hype, not necessarily because he's obviously crazy. I don't need to be that good, to be honest. But I want to like learn the James Hype style where he's like crossfading all of that stuff and doing all his fancy little things. another thing. One day I do want to have. I would prefer to have 3 mixers, and then eventually 4. But it's just so expensive to buy the CDJs.
So the workaround of that is a sampler. Like if you want to use acapellas or beats. Yeah, and some of the mixers and controllers have. So one of the advantages to Serato is that there's a sampler built into the software. So you can grab a sample and loop it and play it on deck 3.
Wait, without something plugged into it? Okay, because it's on the software. So that's why you can use that channel, because it's in the software. So if I opened up a record box then, hi! I'm gonna call you CCC Canna Club. What's up? James Hype is a class of its own, yes, I know. James Hype is like, everyone aspires to be like James Hype. We're gonna loop. I'm gonna use this one. I like to use without my headphones. I obviously like to see if I'm making sure the beats are matched. I was thinking, okay, I do want to use my little loops a little more because I can build this song here while this is still just looping.
I'm old school. We already discussed I'm old. So I do everything in the headphones. When I started, you didn't have waveforms to use as guides, so it's a lot more just about knowing your track and pre-cueing before you bring the track in. So just different styles. This is normally where I'd be using headphones.
The crossfader, guys. Thank you for the rose. Thank you, RoboCat.
Everything you will experience. Your fears, your dreams.
It just seems like a lot of it is just getting used to playing with buttons and just like pressing buttons and doing things and just knowing
hashtag play with buttons.
Like, I think that's like what I'm learning about DJing is like, it's just really about pressing a bunch of buttons and just knowing beforehand what those buttons sound like. It's kind of how it is.
The key is to always be using the buttons so you don't get dragged on social media for a lot. So I will say this, a lot of people get dragged because they're just faking. But when you're standing up there and there's like a 2-minute breakdown and there's nothing to do, people complain about DJs that are like fake tweaking knobs and buttons, but the alternative is to be doing this. I'm just waiting, you guys. I'm waiting for that build. But yeah, that's what I was
saying. Yeah, he's doing a bunch of shit. Yeah. I mean, I think it depends. Like, I've noticed, like, in the genre that I'm in, which is melodic techno, you know, a lot of it is like, a lot of these people that are playing their songs, like they're not doing like they're not James hyping it up, you know, and that's because that's a different crowd. You know, they're not trying to hype up the crowd and get everybody like, you know, like it's not tech house.
You start to take away from the track.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's like, you know, and I'm not saying they're not doing anything because of course they are. They made the songs usually, you know, but like it's a little bit more of a, in my opinion, a boring crowd. You know, where everyone's just kind of like, you know, versus like getting super hyped. But yeah, they don't want to hear all this little, you know, and so sometimes, yeah, I do find like those scratching sounds and like that kind of mixing sound, like the type of crowd a lot that I might be playing for isn't going to want to hear that stuff. But there's a nice balance, right, of like, I still need to learn how to do that. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to exercise my right, but exactly. Yeah, you never know, right? I might want to have fun and just do it, right? It's like the crowd. I kind of like a crowd that's a little bit more hyped, to be honest, which is why sometimes I think about not necessarily switching genres, but bending a genre, because I don't want that boring crowd that just stands around. I want people to be hyped. I want people to be jumping up and down, going like, yeah! Like I see all those videos, you know, where everyone's in the back and they're just like going crazy and having the best time. I like that crowd. That's the crowd that I want, you know?
The phrase that was coined for the boring crowd is called stancing, when they're just half standing, half dancing.
Yeah, right. That's what they do, and then they record with their phones because the visuals are so cool, and they're just standing around. And honestly, like that's not my vibe. Even though I like that kind of music, like I'm a Afterlife baby, you know, like I love Afterlife, but it's like so boring. Those people are so boring, and so for me personally, when I'm like playing, I want to hype up the crowd, but I want to stay within my genre. So I do feel like learning these little buttons and tricks and stuff will really help me, because that's how I can kind of like keep it a little bit more fun, you know? So
Color, some flavor.
yeah, Tech House does get boring too. Thank you for your comments, guys. I'm just gonna address the comments, and then we're probably gonna say goodbye. But I'll be back live practicing and trying to apply all these things that I learned from Lee today. So that's really exciting. I know somebody here, let's see here. Adrian says, "Hey, do you call yourself a DJ? And yet you still have much to learn." Yeah, Adrian, I'm just pretty open about that. I am still learning. I'm not one of those people that is trying to fake it and pretend to be like such a great DJ when they're not. I'm still learning. You know, I still have a lot to learn, and that's kind of at my stage. But I still am a DJ. I've already been paid to do gigs. I've opened up for some big DJs. I've been live streaming and DJing for a while. So yeah, I'm definitely a DJ, but I'm just like learning.
Can I address something? DJ means disc jockey. If you look back, there were selectors and disc jockeys. If you go back to Jamaica, the history, there were two roles. There was a disc jockey and a selector. So disc jockey essentially means music curator. So it's not related to how technically savvy you are per se. It's if you are a music curator, you are ergo a DJ.
That's actually, he put it really, really well. I really love that. Yeah, exactly. You're curating the music, you're making a vibe. Yeah. And it's not necessarily how skilled you are, but yeah, are you creating a vibe for people by playing music? We're sharing music. I've always been a lover of music. I used to write songs when I was a kid. I've had my entertainment company for many years. And now I am lucky to be able to curate a vibe for people, which is really exciting. And I get very nervous about it too, because I'm so new, you know, like it's still for me, I'm like scared, but the more prepared I am, honestly, the less nervous I get. You know, like if I have my playlist and I have my starting song and I know this is my list, you know, and I know I'm on for like an hour or 2 hours, like I get a little bit more like, okay, you know, it's not as scary. And now that I know that when you're live and like the club, the speakers are so much more forgiving than what you hear in your headphones and your monitor, it does help me feel a little bit like less like I can't fuck up, you know, because when I'm practicing here and when I'm on my live stream, like you hear everything. If something's not perfect, you know, like then you hear it. But yeah, out in the club, you don't hear it, which is really nice.
The industry adage for all performers, I think, is if it doesn't matter how long you're performing, when you stop getting a little nervous before a performance, it might mean you've stopped caring.
That's true. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, I like it. I enjoy it, but it's still new. Yeah. He says he gets nervous still. Oh, okay, guys. So any skills come with time. Exactly. I'm not trying to fast track anything. I'm just learning. I'm absorbing. I'm learning. I'm practicing. I'm not expecting to be anything. I actually don't even have expectations on this. I'm doing this for fun. You know, like I'm not trying to be famous. I'm not trying to be, you know, the biggest DJ in the world. I'm not trying to be as big as James Hype or Anima. I'm just enjoying myself, and that's really all that matters. So, okay, guys, I will see you guys maybe on Friday. I am planning to go live again regularly and do my practice. So I have to record a set for this competition. Auden, or is that his name? He's doing like this competition where you could maybe play live. So I'm going to record a set and send that in. So I might do that live. Thank you. Peace out, everybody that watched me today. Make sure you're following, make sure you're subscribing, and I'll see you later this week. Bye. You're welcome. Oh wait, do you have a DJ handle?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, Instagram just at hey Mr. DJ Lee, HeyMrDJLee.